Good morning, Africa and its mighty diaspora. From the streets of Los Angeles to the streets of Niamey, this is the X-Man bringing the fire. Now they came, not with tanks, not this time. No boots on the ground, no airstrikes, no ultimatums shouted across desert winds. No, this time they came with a letter, an envelope, software polished, measured. But inside, nuclear meaning, velvet words, stitched with centuries of blood. France wasn't just knocking, France was begging. And Niger didn't flinch. They opened that letter, read those honey-dipped promises, and replied with fire. The only happiness France can offer is to stay far away from our land. That's right. That's not poetry. That's a political detonation. Boom. That's a mic drop heard from Bamako to Brussels. Let's break it all the way down. Because this ain't about diplomacy. This is about desperation dressed in Dior. France's economy is spiraling. Their energy security is cracking. And guess what? The key to their so-called nuclear independence lies buried under Niger's red soil. Uranium, the glowing rock that powered the Eiffel Tower's shine and left Agadez in darkness. For decades, France drained that soil like a vampire in a tuxedo. No taxes, no oversight, no shame, just Orano, formerly Areva, mining like it owned the earth itself. And when the mines ran dry, they bounced, left behind radiation, cancer clusters, poverty, and silence. But in 2023, the silence shattered. General Abdurrahmane Chiani, say that name with respect, he looked at the books and saw what the rest of the world pretended not to: elegant theft, legal theft, French theft, 3 French military bases in Niger, each draining millions of Central African francs daily, funded not by Paris, but by Niger's stolen uranium. And what was France protecting? Not Niger, not its people. They were protecting the illusion of control, but the veil got ripped off. And Niger stood up, not as a colony, not as a client state, but as a sovereign nation. And the West, oh, they panicked because Niger wasn't just saying no, it was saying never again. Let me tell you what France offered: return of stolen colonial artifacts, funding for flood relief, counterterrorism support, reparations for the 1899 massacre at Lugu, a new partnership as equals. Sounds noble, right? Sounds healing. But Niger's leaders had read the script before. They knew the lines, because France only remembers Africa when the uranium stops flowing. They only speak of justice when power slips from their fingers. Let me paint the picture for you clearly. France's nuclear reactors, military submarines, satellites, even its energy grid, all depend on Niger's uranium, all built on the backs of African labor and lies. But Niger said, you want our minerals? Then you respect our sovereignty. You want our energy? Then invest in our grid. You want partnership? Then show up with equality, not apologies. And just like that, the shipments stopped. No more uranium, not by contract, not by bribe, not by silent consent, cold turkey. Hold up. If this message is hitting your chest like a drum, if your blood is boiling and your mind is wide awake, then like this video, subscribe to this channel, share it with every contact in your phone and every friend on your timeline. Share it like your life depends on it, because it does. Africa needs all hands on deck. Now back to it. Let's talk about what really happened. France came back to Niger like a jilted lover. Letters, speeches, symposia, Macron on TV talking reset and renewal. But beneath the words, panic. Because this wasn't just about Niger. This was about the whole uranium supply chain for Europe. This was about African nations waking up together. In Bamako, Mali said, no more lithium exports. In Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso audited their gold contracts. In Conakry, Guinea started rewriting mining laws. Currency talks left Brussels and landed in West Africa. Africa wasn't just resisting extraction. Africa was rewriting the rules. And the West? Oh, they scrambled for the playbook. They screamed geopolitical instability. They whispered Russian interference. They called it blackmail. But the truth, the leash broke, and the dog didn't come back. Let me talk directly to my American audience. Imagine this. Every nuclear warhead in the Pentagon, every aircraft carrier at sea, every radiation treatment in a U.S. hospital, all suddenly dependent on a country that says, we are not for sale. That's what France is facing right now. And that's the world we're walking into. Because for the first time, Africa said no, and the world had to listen. Let's be clear, this wasn't retaliation, no bombs, no embargoes, just one word, number. And that one word, it did more damage than 1,000 missiles because it struck where colonial empires fear most, assumed obedience. France assumed Niger needed aid, assumed Africans still feared, assumed sovereignty was negotiable. But what France forgot is that dignity once reclaimed becomes the most dangerous weapon in the world, and Niger wielded it with surgical precision. Here's the question of the hour. Is this a moment or is this a movement? Because doctrines don't live in documents, they live in decisions, they live in no's, they live in refusals that echo across borders. And the echo from Niger, it's bouncing from Lagos to Lusaka, from Kinshasa to Khartoum, from Dakar to Dar es Salaam. Let me make one thing real clear. This is not a pro-Russia tale. This ain't East versus West. This is old empires versus new realities. This is about the end of we'll help you if you behave. This is about the end of aid with strings, soldiers with secrets, and partnerships that smell like deals made at gunpoint. Because Africa has awakened and it remembers everything. Let's close it out like this. France thought it could return with flowers. But Niger remembered the funerals. France brought promises, but Niger counted the bodies. France wrote a letter, but Niger dropped the truth, and the world saw a shift, a continental consciousness rising like the Sahel sun, where once there was silence, now there's strategy. Where once there was fear, now there's fire. And in that fire, new nations are forging policy out of pain. New leaders are rewriting the script, not in the colonizer's tongue, but in their own terms. No sellouts, no filters, no fears. This is the X-Man signing off.